ANC in KwaZulu-Natal says it will look into the concerns raised by a group of disgruntled members who are protesting outside the elective conference venue. The protesters say there are some delegates from branches that did not hold their conferences. Our reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo joins us live to put us in the picture and tell us what is happening there at this hour at least. Ziyanda, good afternoon.
A very good afternoon to you, Dudu. Well, we're inside the plenary for where the conference is set to get underway, and I can tell you that the venue is starting to fill up, and you'll know that there were some issues with some delegates earlier on, but it seems that there is now some kind of movement inside the venue. Typical, though, however, of ANC conferences in terms of a late start, when KZN is seemingly absolutely no different in this regard. And Dudu, I'm going to bring in national spokesperson Pule Mabe to talk more about this, because Mr. Mabe, your organization doesn't seem to be able to get it right when it comes to issues of credentials and starting on time.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. We are getting it right. Of course, there would have been these delays. And these delays are largely informed by a number of factors. I can tell you now, at the registration center at Moses Mabhida, they are left with about less than 25 delegates that they needed to process. These are either replacements, those that could not make it for pre-registration because of many other myriad of reasons. But we are quite comfortable that any time from now, conference would be able to start. And we must be able to commend the leadership of KwaZulu-Natal. You can see the level of organization, even just here in plenary. We are hoping that when they start, delegates will all be recharged and do what they are required to do to be able to position the ANC much better.
I mean, let's talk about this issue of there being so many slates in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Does that not tell you that there's a vacuum perhaps when you have so many people vying for an example, the position of chairperson?
Well, the ANC is a democratic organization. And because the ANC is a democratic organization, all members of the ANC in good standing, if they meet the requirements set out in the Constitution, may elect or be elected. I do not think that we should read more into people contesting. When people contest, when branches nominate, they are really exercising their own right as members of the African National Congress. We are the leadership of the ANC deployed in this province. It is not our duty to dictate to structures of the ANC who they must or must not vote. Our responsibility in these conferences is to make sure that we bring our structures together. We encourage our comrades to be united. Whatever they do, the songs they sing, they must not be vulgar, they must not insult each other, because after all, when conference rises, the ANC must still be there. So as to who emerges in a conference is neither here nor there, because the life of the ANC supersedes or is beyond those that are elected to be leaders of the African National Congress.
All right, sir, that's Pule Mabe. But you can see then Pungane Chef Khadebe, who is here as well. You're live on Newzroom Afrika, Mr. Khadebe. You are obviously one of the deployees here to the province. Your assessment of how things have been taking place so far, we haven't even started yet. Do you foresee a credentials crisis?
Well, I'm an invitee as a member of the NEC of the Provincial Executive Committee. But we assume that as soon as the meeting, the conference starts, we will be able to be answered all those questions that you are posing. But I'm very optimistic that the conference will be very smooth.
And what do you make of the unity of the province of KwaZulu-Natal? You're from here. I remember in 2017 you even ran a campaign here. Would you describe this province as a stable province?
It's very stable, even though, as we have seen in the last elections, especially local government, we've observed a decline, but I think it's a wake-up call. I'm looking very forward to the next elections of the country, where we're going to be able to ensure that we recover from the lost ground.
All right, let's let you go. That's NEC member Jeff Radebe. Several others have also made their way into the venue. You might have spotted then Nomvula Mokonyane, Mamoloko Kubai, as well as Gwen Ramakgopa, who is obviously assisting in the Secretary General's office. We just saw Lindiwe Sisulu passing by. I don't know if she would be keen on speaking, but there's also Mamkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Mildred Oliphant. It tells you about the level of interest then in this provincial conference, especially because KwaZulu-Natal is the largest region. So the presence as well of the NEC members gives an indication to us that any moment from now this hall will start filling up, and that we will see then conference get underway, where there will be the adoption of the credentials, the adoption of the agenda, nominations, and hopefully, as was set out by the provincial leadership, voting then for the top 5 of this province of KwaZulu-Natal.
It would seem, by all indications coming out of the plenary, that it's all systems go, and as soon as that gets underway, we'll touch base with you, Ziyanda, and bring that for our viewers. Thank you very much for that update. And